I am doing well. Good afternoon. I am also so much excited to be able to speak to you live on air. It's my first time being on air, actually. I got a bit nervous, but at least now I feel I'm a bit relaxed now. Yes, thank you. Happy Women's Day to you also, and to all women in South Africa. You actually pronounced it exactly the way it's supposed to be pronounced. It's Dorothy Moseo Mwanzia. That's my name. Yes, Moseo. Okay, good afternoon once more. My name is Dorothy Moseo Mwanzia. I am from a very small village on the eastern part of a very beautiful country called Kenya. That is where I was born and raised. Yes, and I'm currently a PhD research student at the University of Nairobi in Kenya. Okay, so that is where I am currently. I am in a research institute in India called SN Bose National Center for Basic Sciences. So this is part of a collaboration with my home institute, University of Nairobi. So it's part of a collaboration where I got a research fellowship when I was after my master's. I got a research fellowship for my PhD. So the research fellowship was offered in such a way that I had to travel to India to do my research here. That is why, yes, yes, on a sandwich program. Actually, my introduction to astrophysics and astronomy, my very first time to encounter astrophysics and astronomy was when I joined my master's, because in my undergraduate, I did a bachelor's degree in education. So I have an education background. Basically, I'm a teacher by profession, mathematics and physics. Then uh, during my fourth year, we were offered like optional courses to do project if we want, because they said for teachers we don't need it, but if you want you can choose to do a project. So among the list of the projects, I looked for the one that looked a bit, it's something interesting. So I saw one under one lecturer, and it was written Higgs boson, and I was like, what is this Higgs boson? So I approached, yeah, Higgs boson, black holes. So I approached the lecturer, and it was the lecturer that when we were joining campus, we used to be told, if that lecturer ever teaches you any course, you be assured of you'll fail. So he had taught us one course, and he was teaching us another course, and I was finding his lectures were actually interesting. So I was intrigued to want to know what is this Higgs boson and black holes. So I approached him, and he agreed to work with me on a short project during my undergraduate. And I did not actually work on either Higgs boson or black holes. He gave me a project to work on neutrino cosmology, which made me cry so many nights because I did not understand what that was. And he took me to the library and he would borrow for me very big books, and he would tell me, go and read this chapter and then come and summarize for me what you learned in this chapter. It was hard because I had never heard of, I did not have any background about that, but I really pushed on solving those equations. I was not understanding anything, but then I completed. Then when I finished my undergraduate, I scored a first class honors, and I decided to try for a master's. So I got a scholarship from my university to pursue my master's. When I joined master's, I asked if there is any course that actually doesn't involve going to the lab. I was told there's theoretical physics. When I went to theoretical physics, I I was told there were three lecturers. That lecturer who I went for my project in undergraduate, and another lecturer who did his master's and PhD from South Africa, Cape Town, and another lecturer who was he was more of into quantum. So I was like, I want to go with this one who went to South Africa, because his field was dealing with the astrophysics. So he gave me a project on solar physics. So I was doing solar variability and Earth's climate change. And during that time is when I heard of stars. I heard that stars are born and they die. So I got so much interested in knowing what are these stars? What are these things really? Yeah, and about the plasma, those things. Yeah. Then after my master's, just like the 1 month to my graduation, he told me there's an opportunity we can try and put forward an application for a sandwich program that is being offered in India. And yeah, it's a fellowship offered by the World Academy of Sciences. So we tried our we tried our luck. They wanted a PhD student already enrolled, but I had not enrolled. So I enrolled during that time before even my graduation, and I got it. So during my interview, they were asking me, what are you interested in to pursue for your PhD? I told them anything about stars. So this is how I found myself in astrophysics. And actually, I think like basically most of the things I have come to learn them at my PhD level. And yeah, I would actually say the biggest thing about astrophysics is driven by curiosity. So if one is curious, then that is the starting. That is the first step. And also, yeah, I think you have to have some STEM background, be interested in it, has some mathematics, some programming, and also be curious because, as I said, it's all about probing things that are way far from us. So we are learning things that we cannot actually touch. We want, and astrophysics is about getting to know what is out there in the universe, which we cannot get in our labs. So what I can say to that person is have curiosity. If you have and self drive, be willing to learn new things every day. Yes, and just yeah, that is what I would basically say. What motivated me basically like to pursue masters and PhD. Right? So what inspired me to pursue higher education is basically I I have a background, as I had mentioned, in my undergraduate I did education. So I'm supposed to be a teacher. So before my graduation, I went and applied for a school and I got a position to teach there. But in one way or the other, maybe I was given something that I could not find myself fitting in that field. I have like whenever I would go and teach, I would find myself I'm getting drained because I would like when I teach, I would teach with so much passion so that the students can understand. So I would find myself raising my voice so high, so I'm actually interrupting the other classes. And every time I would go back to the staff room, the teacher was in the next class, they would complain and tell me, Dorothy, next time please lower your voice. And that actually was draining me. It made me like feel a bit of low self-esteem in terms of my career. So after my graduation in my fourth year, actually I was confused if I should really go back to teaching high school and continue with such kind of, because those comments at such an early age were not doing me good. So my sister actually is the one that told me you can try and apply for scholarships and see if you get. If you get, maybe you can do masters and maybe do PhD because you like teaching. Maybe you can try teaching higher education where there are big halls and no one will be saying you're making noise for them. I was like, oh yeah. And then also when I approached my lecturer and told him I want to pursue masters, he was like, "Yeah, you should actually pursue masters. Why would you want to? Because here, when you pursue higher education, you are actually going to research and you'll be learning, researching to want to know new things every day. But in high school, when it's not to demoralize anyone or to discourage them, but I would be teaching the same content every time, and that yeah, with the small staff room, with a small class. Yeah, I was actually motivated by that. Yes. So we call it HELB scholarship in my country. It actually means higher education loans board. So it's given to, I applied for the scholarship, not for the loan. It's given to those that have, want to pursue uh, masters and PhD but have no jobs. So you don't have like a source of income yet to finance you. So how this has impacted me I had actually applied for it before, but I did not get for the first time. Then I applied again, and the next time, and then I got it. So it caters for the tuition fee. So in my country, you have to pay a tuition fee for you to be able to pursue your higher education. So me applying this higher education loans board at least helped me to reduce that pressure of wondering where am I going to get the tuition fee to cover this huge amount that I need to pay. Yeah, it's actually because there's this stereotype that is in most of the societies that ladies cannot actually achieve anything big. And also, having come from a society where we are actually from the dry parts of the country, so most of the time, it's like people feel sorry about themselves for having come from such kind of society. And so ladies, when we grow up, when we get to high school, so most of them just because of the hard situations, they just end up getting married. So I was inspired. My mom is actually my role model is my mom because she was a teacher, and she always told, yes, she's actually the one who has been encouraging me to be like, Dorothy, please don't stop where I stopped, because she actually dropped out when she was in second year. So she dropped out when she got married, but she had done a diploma. So the diploma is the one that got her the job. So she was telling me, Dorothy, you my children, you can actually go beyond what I did, because there is nothing impossible with ladies. Whatever a man can achieve, any lady can actually achieve. So with that, she was motivating me. Okay, you mean you mean I can actually go beyond the point that you were? And she was like, yes. So that actually motivated me. And what I am usually passionate about is like I like to motivate other girls, because I feel so sad or so bad when I see girls that are so young dropping out of school to get married at a really tender age, and then after some time they start like regretting the decisions that they took, because they get into it and then the life does not go as they expected. So if they had actually pushed themselves to complete studies and get something for themselves, that would be actually better. Like just pushing ourselves as ladies to do something for our own would actually be so good for the society. So Essenbos National Center for Basic Sciences is one of the top three, I think, research institutes in India, one of the best top three research institutes in India. So Essenbos is in collaboration with the World Academy of Sciences, and they offer fellowships, research fellowships, mostly to, I think, to many countries, including African countries. So when you get whenever applicant from any of the countries that are in the list of the ones that they can offer the scholarship, you apply and you get an opportunity to travel from your country to Essenbos, because they really have nice facilities. Their labs are well equipped, and you can carry out your research so well. Yes, and it's for me, the one that I am on a sandwich fellowship, meaning it's a collaborative fellowship between my institution and Essenbos National Center. So the knowledge that I'll gain here, I just take it back to my institution and help them to grow in this field. No, it's not an exchange program. It's more of a, so there are two kinds of fellowship that are offered by this the towards the World Academy of Sciences in collaboration with Essenbos. So they offer two kinds of fellowships to the countries that they have in their list. So one is the full scholarship. When you get the full scholarship, that means you have to travel from your country and work and come and study exclusively from India, register in an Indian university and finish your PhD from here. And the other one is sandwich, the one that I am in, where you are registered in your home country, but then you can travel to India, do your research, then travel back to your country. It's like you are on both institutions. Yes. It was my second time. No, for a summer school in in Uganda. It was just a 50 minutes flight. It was actually, if I would say, let me just go a bit off from the question, then I come and answer it. I got the scholarship from the on the from the beginning of January of 2022, but I traveled from my country to India in February of 2023. So this whole year of 2022, I took actually thinking if I really want to go on air on a flight that is more than 6 hours, because I was so afraid of traveling over the waters. But when I took that first flight to India, to Uganda for the summer school, which was 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I can actually fly on air. So that is what made me to like uh, be motivated. And I'm like, okay, I'm also going there, because if others travel, I can also travel. It was really nervous first for the first time traveling overseas. I will not lie, because the first flight was 5 hours, and during those 5 hours, I was just trembling in my own seat. The good thing is that I did not have a seatmate, so I was just trembling alone. But it was a nice experience. Now I've actually got used to it. Yes. Oh, yes, thank you for that question. So, future plans for my country. I would really love when it will get to a point where I see my country having all these facilities that we move out to look for outside our countries. If we would get to that point where we can have equipped labs, and also have like, for me in the field of astrophysics, if we would have telescopes like the way South Africa has. I really admire South Africa. If we would have at least even one telescope, that would be feel so nice, because I would know that I would go to these high schools and take a few of the students and tell them, come, I go and show you a telescope, and then I would tell them what the telescope is all about. It's about looking at those stars. So I would really like, my future plan would be get seeing through such a time that my country at least has one telescope that we can work with, as we work on having many more. For myself, I would say I would like to, in terms of research, I would like to complete my PhD. And once I'm done with PhD, if I get a postdoc position, I would really love to pursue it.